Oh, good morning, Wister. How are you doing today?
Very fine. How are you today?
I'm very fine. Look, I shouldn't say I'm fine. I think I have some sort of COVID. I haven't been able to work since. I've had it since Monday actually, and it's pretty much taking its toll on me. And I just feel so weak, and I'm coughing a little, but. It is what it is. The whole house is pretty much affected, and yeah, that's all we have, you know. Yeah. So, what's new? You told me you had an interesting topic. What's going on?
Oh, first, it's very unfortunate that you are not verified and the family is so affected. Too bad about it, but I'm sure you'll get well. I think the
Thank you.
conversation with you in the morning, you said you are getting better than yesterday.
Well, yesterday was bad. I couldn't even do anything. But today I'll be. But my son is switching schools, so I, I I don't know. I did the COVID test and it came out negative, but I don't know if it's just a bout of a cold or I don't know what it is. But I did the test twice and it came out negative, so I don't know what it is, But all the symptoms are COVID related, So yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah. So coming to what have you got to say about uh the Garden Compound debacle. What really happened? Can you enlighten me, please?
You started it as a question. You asked me to say, what is trending there? I
Yeah,
mean, here.
yes. What's going
Uh,
on?
this is the second day now.
Yeah.
Our Minister of Local Government, Mr. Garry Nkombo, conducted an operation in Garden Compound, trying to fight the scourge that has been happening for a very long time now. There have been rampant drinking, brewing, and the drinking of Kachasu, and lives have been broken. We have a lot of people who have their lives destroyed by this VCT blue. Otherwise, it's quite bad, and the minister decided to take it to fight it. He went direct into the garden compound, and while there with the security team and the other members of staff, and at some point, there was even a video that was recorded where it was saying that the minister forced that woman, some woman who was brewed that Kachasu, to drink it because, and then she said she doesn't drink the stuff. And then the
Yes.
minister wondered why she's uh, providing stuff which to people which she herself cannot take. And then
Uh,
it's like also some children were
what,
forced to
what,
take
what,
it.
what, 1 second, Wister. Let me just attend to this young man. You can go on, please.
Okay, fine. So there's an issue of the minister forcing children and to drink kachasu. And there's been an uproar in the country and outside. And then it was all over social media. Everyone was talking about it on the buses, in town, and everywhere else. And it was quite bad. As people who support the new Dawn administration, who have been labeled by some sections of society as the praise singers, I'm telling you the truth, we were put in a very awkward situation.
Well,
Which,
I'm not going to beat about the bush regarding this one. I think it, I feel it was wrong. And personally, I will tell you my personal story. My
okay,
my 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 father and my biological mother had divorced, right?
okay,
And
too bad.
at that time, I was living with my mother, and my mother used to brew the said kachasu, and that was our source of livelihood, up until my father came back, and then he he got me, and then took me to Monze. That's where I pretty much grew up. But here's the thing, though. Here's how I feel about it. If you look at Kachasu brewing, that's a form of distillation, right? And the process is the same as how they make these other liquors, you know. But the only difference is that it's the alcohol content that differs. You see that?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the government has to come in and say, okay, how are we going to help these guys? Try to make it less detriment to health. You know, because look, if someone goes to drink to imbibe, for lack of a better term, right? They don't need to spend so much money to get drunk, and the reason is because of the alcohol content. So yeah. So uh, regarding that, though, I just wanted to highlight that the minister came back to apologize. What do you think about the apology?
Okay. Um, after an uproar from all sections of society where us supporters were embarrassed, we were not comfortable, but in the underground, in the background, we were able to talk to each other, and I'm sure the minister was meant to realize that he was wrong, not only by our critics as the New Dawn, not only from our critics as the UPND, but there were even critics like ourselves from within. We didn't want to come out in the public because we took it that this is something that we can deal as a house matter. Otherwise, let me say first in the preamble that this discussion is not meant to undermine the apology that the minister made. I'm very proud of the minister that he realized that what he did was wrong, because he's a human being like all of us. We've made several mistakes. Even at my workplace, I've made mistakes. I haven't been fired. But my bosses and my employers have realized that I'm a human being, and they have mentored me to do better. I've worked in different organizations, and every organization I've worked in, I've made mistakes. I haven't been fired, but I've been corrected and made to do better. And that's how our honorable minister, as an honorable man, realized that he made a mistake and was so magnanimous that he made a public apology. We give kudos to such a humble man. Very few people would come out in the
Well,
open as a minister.
Well, in the first place, I'm happy that he had to come out to issue that apology, and I don't think we'll see this in the PF regime, though. I remember Bowman Osambo when he whipped those guys. He never came up with an apology. But the question is the apology in good faith?
It was in good faith. We have seen apologies before, but this one is a very exceptional one. We've seen apologies where people have just posted a few words on social media, maybe a phone call made directly to the person that has been offended. But this one is different. The minister went public. Very few people would invite the media, sit in front of cameras, and make your apology. That was a great apology. It was in good faith. If it wasn't in good faith, he was just going to pick a call and talk to that lady and the family and forget about it. But the minister apologized to the lady and to the people of Zambia and the world over on an open platform with his face showing. That was, we give kudos to such. He's such a humble man, worth to be called an honorable person. You
Well,
saw let me, that's a bit. I'm glad that you gave an example of what we saw in the past. Our youths, our youths who were advocating for a better Zambia were labeled as disgruntled people by the likes of the former minister of Lusaka, Bowman Lusambo. The guy was so proud that he has refused up to today. No apology has been made.
Please go on. Let me just attend to this young man. He's busy pulling my legs down here. So just go on, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll proceed. Otherwise, with the apology coming from Garry Nkombo representing the UPND, the New Dawn government, he has shown that the UPND, the New Dawn administration, is very different from where we're coming from, the PF regime. It's very different from where we are. The minister was able to show that he's able to make mistakes as a human being, and he has come back to say sorry, which is very good. But meanwhile, what they say that first things first. What did the minister want to achieve by going to that compound, to
Yes.
garden compound, that residential area?
Mm-hmm.
What was the intention for his visit?
Yes.
I think if we go back before the apology, one would wonder what the minister wanted to achieve. Yes, we need to criticize our own, and I wish we had this show before the apology. Unfortunately, we were so busy; we had a lot of things to do. Uh, Otherwise, we'll handle it this way. For me, just a mere visit to meet one person or one family or a few families that are brewing Kachasu would yield to nothing. This is Kachasu brewing in Zambia. Brewing and consumption is at a very big, large, it's at a large scale. It's
Yes.
countrywide. It's all over in the shanty compounds. Just mere visits, even in grabbing. I think we saw Mao Sampa, let alone came and said, even himself, when he was mayor of Lusaka, he grabbed before. He would go in the compounds and grab this Kachasu, but nothing happened. Nothing has changed. We have seen even in the past, the police would go in the communities, grab this illicit blue, throw it away, discard it. But what have we achieved? Nothing. The scourge has continued. I wish the minister thought of something else. Don't just jumping into the compounds and then grab the stuff. That is not the remedy. And I'm sure with discussions with other people and being a very intelligent person, I'm sure he has realized. But his visit will yield to zero results.
Well, the thing is, again, was there a warning issue to them, though?
Yeah, actually, the minister said that he has gone in the community before, he has warned them. Actually, it's not only him. These people, way back from the UNIP time, Kachas brewers, they have been warned.
Yeah, but
Vehemently.
let,
Warnings have been going
no,
there.
no, let me just give you a background of what. Remember, I said my mother used to brew this, right?
Yes,
I
you said.
remember during UNIP Counters era, okay,
Okay.
the police used to like go into the villages, like the compounds, like confiscate all the, uh, for lack of a better term, I'll call it the paraphernalia or the equipment.
Okay.
Used to brew the, and we used to hide those containers, like you climb in a tree and then you hide the containers and everything. That's how we used to hide those. And when they come to search, they'll come and say they'll find nothing. So the scourge won't end. Okay. Uh, all I'm looking for is what is the alternative source of income for people to earn a living? Right now, you know that the cost of living has gone up, and if you're going to say let's stop these people from brewing this, for lack of a better term, I'll say illicit beer. No, it's not beer; it's liquor actually.
Okay.
Are we providing a solution?
Not at all. That is not the solution. The solution lies somewhere else. Um, okay.
And okay, this brings me to the next thing. What is Garry Nkombo's fate?
He has tendered his apology, and a lot of sections of society they have accepted his apology. And in my opinion, a humble person should be forgiven. Personally, I've forgiven him, and I joined scores of people who are asking Those who have refused to accept the apology in bad faith, to accept the apology and forge on, forge ahead. I'm sure the president has also forgiven him. He knows he's a human being. The
Who,
lady herself and her family, they have accepted the apology. Then who are we not to accept the apology when the direct people that are involved in the debacle, they have forgiven each other, they have reconciled?
who has won though? Who's the winner here? Is it the people or the state, or it's
I
either
think the
party
people of
has won?
Zambia, the people of Zambia have won because they come out in numbers to criticize the minister. And they keep the ministers chewed the humble pie and said sorry. It's not easy to apologize.
So, in your view, you think that the minister has turned this around by vehemently apologizing?
Yes. And I'm sure now he's just looking forward to alternative ways of stopping the scourge instead of using the route that he took. Others have taken that route before and it has yielded to nothing. I'm sure you mentioned that a long time ago when you were young, such kind of interventions were
No,
instituted,
it
but
hasn't
nothing else
started now.
happened.
It has been happening, and I know how we used to hide. How we, you know, my father used to work at Mamba Collieries, right?
Yeah.
And there's a stream that there's a stream where they after they wash the coal, and then that water just it's a stream. It runs all the way. It goes into the Zambezi River, right? So we would get those containers again and hide them like right in the reeds there, and the police would never go there, you know. And we, we did that for years. You know, this happened during Kaunda's time. It happened during Chuluba's time. It happened during Manawas, and it's still happening. And,
Yeah.
and, and for me, I think when you look at it, it's all about the different social stratas, right? So
Uh,
the guys that can afford the Jameson, the Jamaican rum, and all that, they spend a little bit more to get drunk. And we have, the other guys that are in the lower class that would, just with a few quarters, you buy what do they call it, a bomb, and then you're done. You know, so,
I'll get to that stage later in the discussion.
yeah. So
But let me
yeah,
first look at the question that is running here. Why
yes,
is there rampant brewing of Kachasu in the compounds?
yes,
It is poverty. Brewing of Kachasu is a source of living for many people in Zambia.
agreed.
And actually, if I say thousands of people, maybe I say millions, I'm sure there are not less than 1 million people in Zambia that are surviving on brewing of Kachasu. Because I go to the compounds, it's quite rampant. I can give you an estimation because their houses are really, these the density places, I mean population density places, with the high density places, the communities. I can give an example in an area that is about 2 hectares, let's say 2 football grounds. You find there about maybe 30 households in 2 hectares. And within those 2 football grounds area, that estimate of 2 hectares, you find there are about 10 families that brew kachasu. And that is their source of livelihood. And I'm telling you, these people, they have grown so big. Actually, you would think that
But
they are poor people.
can I
They
can
have
I
a lot of money.
can I confess though?
Yes.
Uh, I've tested it. It was being made in the house, and it's in phases. There's what they call the number one.
Okay.
The number one is like 100% alcohol volume content. That one can even drive a car. Like a petrol propelled vehicle can you pour that, it'll work.
The former mayor of Lusaka, I think, agrees with you. Miles Samba. He said actually that it's so potent that it is 99% gin.
99.9%.
Yes.
alcohol content, you know, and the only problem, the reason they can't use it for alcohol for machinery usage or operation is that
Sulfuric, yeah.
it's water, right? So the metals begin to rust and all that. Otherwise, you can use it for to operate those.
Preparing some machine.
Yeah, and the way my mother used to well, it started with my grandmother, right? My grandmother used to brew it, and then my father left, and he got stranded in another country for so many years, and my mother needed to find a source of income, right? And that's how my grandmother convinced my mother to start brewing it, and right after right after it's frictional or fractional distillation. It's just a cheaper way of distillation. It's the same process as the rum and all these other brands, right? And there's the way they dilute it, so they put it in classes. There's one, number one, number two, number three, number four, and someone will say, oh, I've come to buy number one. So you know
Number
that
one is
number one is the big one.
it costs more.
Yes. And then that one just a small, I remember taking like it was like a tiny bit of it, and I was
It's
so
like
drunk.
5 meals.
Yeah, I was so drunk. Each time I drank water, I would be drunk again, like for 2 days straight. It was,
It's very concentrated.
yeah, and and I remember my mother coming and say, "You, what's wrong with you?" I said, "I'm not feeling. I know you drank from that." And that's how she got a cane, and you know how Africa. I mean, our parents were at that time, and that's how I vowed never to touch it again. But other than that, if you never did that, I would have I would have continued imbibing. You know.
Actually, like I said earlier on, brewing of Kachasu is actually a money spinner. These people make a lot of money. It
Yes,
starts from
I agree.
poverty. As a
I
result
agree.
of poverty, people have
Hey,
ventured into that, and it's fast money.
look at how I've turned out to be.
You are in the diaspora through education, which came sponsored
I
by
know.
Kachasu.
I
You are now
agree.
in Canada.
So
Otherwise, this scourge it will not end today. It will take long because these people are brewing it. Some of them have been in this business for more than 20 years. They
so
have worked at farms. They have built houses. They are landlords.
so
Otherwise, we need to reduce it slowly, but gradually, steadily, and with very good determination. It is destroying lives of people, but we need to put an end to it. For us to manage, we need to find ways, alternative means of people getting income. Maybe let's go back to the question that you had put.
well, and as I said, basically, it's
I haven't responded to the previous question. Let me just respond to it. I don't want to miss it.
yes, yes, absolutely,
Yeah, let it come back.
yes.
Oh yeah, sure. Lessons learned from the whole episode and the backlash received. Yeah, um, people say that it's good to learn lessons from others, but not through yourself. You Another person makes a mistake, and then you learn from it so that you don't make the same mistake again. I think as a minister, Garry Nkombo, as minister of local government, he has got technocrats. He has got people that he's working with, people that are sober, level headed, without any political bias. These are important people that, before doing anything, ministers should not just embark on programs. They should consult their directors. This problem has been there for a long time. What have you done before? From the interventions you've done before, what have you learned?
No,
I want us to do this. Should I
just
go ahead?
just to
Yes.
cut you short on that one. I think for me, uh, he did not do what he promised us to do.
Which one?
He promised to go and demolish those houses in Forest 27.
You are moving away from the topic,
No,
my
no,
brother.
no, 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 no.
Let's exhaust this one. We can have a discussion for
I don't
others.
believe in apple polishing, you know, allow me to say it.
Okay.
Allow me to say it. The
Okay, you
guy
go ahead.
said he's gonna demolish those houses in Forest 27. He's mute on that. Okay, and why brewing Kachasu is illegal as much as building in Forest 27 is. So why didn't he demolish those houses? Why hasn't he come back to tell us why the structures have not been demolished? And
Okay.
you know that's where my anger stems from.
Your anger is as good as mine.
You know that's where my anger stems from because he is
Yes.
supposed to do what he promised us to do. You know, and for me it's sad because you these are the guys that are trying to paint the president black.
Exactly. That action actually embarrassed the president. I'm sure that's why.
They're painting the president black because sometimes it's very difficult for him to defend them.
Exactly.
And you can see that this man is trying so hard to defend them, but you know, uh, uh, the defense is not plausible. You know, it's not tangible. It's not realistic. You can see that,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's where
Yeah, you've put some comparison, and I saw on social media some people are saying, why is he targeting the poor, leaving the rich that have built in Forest 27, which is also an illegality? Okay, fine. Yeah, these are two wrongs. People are bringing Kachasu, people built in Forest 27, but there are technicalities involved.
but
Then
Winston, here's the thing though. Why
yes,
is he trying to correct a wrong with a wrong? They said two wrongs don't make a right.
that's why he apologized. He has realized that, and he has gone public. He has apologized. And then let me just comment a bit on Forest 27.
Yes,
Yeah, that one is a very technical issue. There are a lot of legal implications before the demolishing can be done, if it will be done. So I'm sure they don't want to rush. Like the president has been saying that this is a government that is going to work according to the rule of law. So they are also looking at the legal implications. Once they exhaust that, action will be taken, and we'll know the position that government will take.
that being said, I'm telling you that the mistake that these guys are making is they are supposed to come back to the people and say, we are supposed to do A, B, C, D, but here is the bottleneck. Garry Nkombo hasn't come to address us to say why those things are not demolished. He
Time
has
has not been exhausted.
he hasn't provided any reasons why that. And then and then
Uh,
and then he just goes to wield his power on poor woman. No, that's
there
not
are
right.
some things. There are some things that are being done in the background. You'll get back to us.
No, no, no,
You will.
no. Objectives they need to be smart.
Let me
You
say
know,
something on that.
the objectives
Um,
need to be systematic. They need to be measurable. They need to be achievable,
exactly.
realistic, and within the
Yeah.
time frame. So
Exactly.
he should come back within the time frame and say, "I'm
What is the time
unable to
frame?
express this because of A, B, C, D."
What is the time frame?
The time frame is we. He promised us. He says, as soon as I get into government, these things will be gone. He gave us a
Okay.
time frame right there.
Yeah, you have responded anyway. Thank you for that response. But like I said earlier on, this is a very technical issue. It's quite complicated, and they need to consult. They need to. I'm sure they're doing a lot of things in the background that we are not aware of. Once they do the consultation, they see they decide the way forward. They'll come back to us and give us a point. And the question now: why are people consuming cachasu? Uh, Generally, we call it beer, be it wine, be it OPEC beer, be it gin, be it brandy. Generally, we call it beer, and let's call it beer
It's not beer. That's liquor.
collectively. And I'm saying, just for the
it,
sake of this discussion and how we address these
no,
things,
no,
is
no,
that
no, 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 no. It's liquor. It's not beer.
we say twamkuno bwalwa, twagumya
Yeah.
mugogo, taida
Yeah.
mumamova.
Yeah.
I want us to take it that way. Mova is beer. I've been found in situations where you are, maybe you are six of you. One is drinking wine, the other one is drinking gin, the other one is drinking a whiskey, the other one is drinking lager. We collectively call it beer, and this I'll call it beer for the sake of the discussion. Yeah, the question that why are people drinking Kachasu? It is very cheap. It is very potent. People drink it so that they become happy. They love that euphoria. They become euphoric within a short period of time. With 5 kwacha, 2 kwacha, the euphoria has been achieved already. So, because of poverty, definitely everyone will go for what he or she can afford. But generally, the distraction to the health of a person is very bad because of the conditions in which this uh, stuff is prepared. They are not certified by health professionals to say these are done in good environment. Even the potency is not measured because they're supposed to be measured to suit uh, the health status of those who take it. Because this beer, as you take it, it must be removed from the body. You just gave me an example that you took about 5 meals, which about 5 meals or some small amount.
I know it
But
was.
when you said you drink water,
It was I've never felt that good in my life, man. That was.
because generally, scientifically, when you take something into your body, be it food, be it alcohol, the body has got a system of removing it through the liver, through the kidneys. But if the stuff is too concentrated, those parts of the body that are supposed to remove it from the system, they end up getting damaged. And then they will fail to perform the functions that they're supposed to do in the body. So this stuff actually destroys the liver a lot. There's a lot of
Again,
distraction on the liver.
again, viewers, this
And
is
then
the Zambian Interactive Show. Basically, this is Wilster's show, and yeah, we're discussing the Garry Nkombo Debacle. And if you'd like to join, the link is in the chat box. Just click on that, and then you can uh, 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 utter your comments as well. So yeah, this brings us to the next item. Um, what is the solution to this?
okay, before you remove that question, let me just finish on what I was saying. Why these people drink Kachasu? I was
Yes.
saying this is very cheap. You achieve the euphoria within a short time with a very small amount of money spent on it. So because it's cheap, because everyone drinks what they can afford. But the cheaper the stuff, the more destructive it is to your body because the higher the potency, the higher their concentration, the higher the damage to the liver and the other parts of the body. So that's the
Well,
reason why they drink it.
and that's what I said earlier on. Uh, the government needs to find this young man. Okay.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sure.
See,
Now
man.
we are family men, and
Yeah.
I'm sure the viewers
Yeah. Okay.
will not complain.
What is it? One moment, please go on. Let me just attend to this young man.
Give me the next question that you had clicked on next.
Yes. What is the solution to all this?
Okay. Um, I think I touched a bit earlier on. The time that the minister went to garden compound to pounce on these brewers and consumers, I think the minister should have spent that time within his ministry. His ministry does not end in Osaka, but I think this is a time that the minister should have gone to the constituencies or met people from the constituencies that are administering the constituency development fund that the new Dawn government has released. Where we know that the new Dawn government administration has released the first batch of the constituency development fund for the first quarter, which runs from January to March. And then the issues that are coming up now is that are the people competent enough, the people in the constituencies, are they competent enough to administer constituency development fund? I think the minister should have because that is an urgent thing at the moment. Other questions that are coming are that, are people benefiting from CDF? The applications have been made, cooperatives have been made, applications are being reviewed, but how they are supposed to administer it, they're still learning. So the minister should have spent time to provide technical support with his teams, the directors, and other technocrats in his ministry, to give technical support, capacity building to these people that are handling the CDF, because this is the money that is going to fight poverty. This is the money that is going to stop people from brewing Kachasu. Because once they form cooperatives, those people that are brewing Kachasu, they will be provided with alternative businesses that are legal, that they are going to do within the confines of the law, that are acceptable by all sectors of society. And once this CDF is administered, people benefit from the youths are in cooperatives. They will not even have time to go and drink a chasso because they'll be working. I'm sure you have seen, even the working class, during weekends when they're not working, they spend most of their time in the bars drinking. But work. So even these youths whose lives are being destroyed by Kachasu, once the cooperatives are funded, once the entrepreneurship is put in the running, you see a lot of people withdrawing from drinking Kachasu, withdrawing from excessive alcohol drinking, and going to productive activities. So that's why I wanted the minister to have been doing his work, providing technical support, providing capacity building to the people that are administering CDF funds. Because this will create jobs, it will create income, it will reduce brewing and consumption of Kachasu. Oh, thank you very much. There's someone following us from Livingstone, from our tourist capital. Thank you very much. Hazel Cluvet, my former schoolmate. Thank you for following.
As I said earlier on, I think for me, the government has like they have to find a way of uh, you know capacity building this, like in this sector. They have to you know do some form of research to help them brew the cachasu that won't be a detriment to health, because
Exactly.
trying to stop these guys from brewing it will never work. And
You know,
I remember I told you earlier on, would the police would come, would get the drums and the containers and would run in the river and hide them, and that was during Kaunda's time. It will never, like, there's no solution. The only solution to this is for them to find a better way of as I said, train them and make sure that whatever is being brewed is not detriment to health. That's the only solution for me.
uh,
Look,
otherwise,
Wilson, if
yeah,
if the only thing that I know is to brew alcohol, why are you going to take me and put me in the field to plant vegetables that I don't have any clue of?
that's why earlier on I said this Kachasu brewing and consumption, it will take years, decades before we completely eradicate it. Because we have to teach people new things, a variety of things that they are supposed to do. That's why we really have to go into skills training. People need to have a lot of skills to do. They should be able to do a lot of things and not only depend on one thing. Otherwise, we need to concentrate on the youths as they are growing. They will take over. We'll take over from our parents. The youths will take over from their parents eventually with years, as long as skills training is provided. The youths get the funding. They will move slowly. We'll be moving away from these things that we are complaining about this time. But the new Dawn administration, they are on course. I'm very happy. Once
Hmm.
the youths get into the cooperatives, we'll start seeing the reduction in this. Otherwise, without alternatives, this will continue because it's a source of livelihood. We need to provide solutions. We should not just push and chase people like the way the Bowmans were doing it. And the president has provided guidance. All he needs is support from Garry Nkombo and the rest of his team.
All right.
Yeah,
As I said, I think uh, 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 I'm happy that the people voiced out, and this is how it's supposed to be.
exactly.
And it's good that this regime is encouraging people to voice out without reprimanding them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy that the minister came back and apologized, which is a noble thing to do, right?
I'm proud
And
of him actually.
he has another take though. I'm not being soft, but I'm just trying to be realistic, right?
Okay.
So there's what we call a learning curve, you know.
Exactly.
So those guys are learning as they are going,
Exactly.
and for me, I'll start criticizing these guys after 2 years
You
because
talked of feasibility in the first place.
sorry,
You talked of feasibility. It- that anything that you are talking about, it should be achievable. It should be feasible.
yes, and
They
realistic
should
as
have a
well.
time frame.
Yeah, exactly. And
Exactly. So we need to give them a realistic time frame before people start judging.
yeah, for me though, I'm giving them 2 years. The least is 1.5 years. I don't want to be seeing these schoolboy mistakes after that because you know what worries me again is that there's this proclivity, this tendency of exposing the president, and the guy is defenseless, and for me, I think it's very selfish of the ministers because they know that this man is not loved by anyone. Okay.
Sometimes I get very upset because these people, they are
No,
the
no,
ones who are supposed to
yeah,
be defending the president, but the president now being compelled to defend them.
yeah.
Sometimes I get upset. I reach an extent where I get upset with these ministers and the top people in UPND. UPND stayed there for a very long time in opposition because of lack of support.
Yeah.
The president lacks a lot of support from his people. They are the ones giving him pressure at the moment,
But
which is very bad.
the question is it time to change the players?
Not at all. Not at all. They are settling down. Even in a football game, the first few minutes, there's Lambwaza. You Lambwaza a bit, but once you adapt, then you start moving on. Otherwise, one mistake cannot make. We've seen. I'll give you an example. I'm wearing a Real Madrid shirt. Last night, my top striker Benzema scored, but in the last game, he missed two penalties, and he was magnanimous enough to pick a penalty, and he scored yesterday. So one mistake, I mean, even our parents would have discarded that as a long time ago. We've made too many mistakes, thousands,
Oh
but here we
yeah,
are. We
agreed,
are now
agreed.
adults,
I've been whipped like several times, man. Like,
yes, but we are never discarded.
yeah. That's the point.
Yes,
I agree.
learning is a continuous
Well,
process. We
as I
make
said,
mistakes.
that there's a learning
Yeah,
curve, right? And
exactly.
for me, uh, when these guys were in opposition, there are certain things that they were not privy to, right? And
Exactly.
right now, I think they've been exposed to a plethora of government operations, and this is the time to make it right. And
Yeah.
they've been 8 months in office, so I know that come a year, I don't expect these schoolboy mistakes, and I just don't want them to expose the president like that, you know, because there's. I told you earlier on that I'm MMD,
Yes, you
okay?
told me
Yeah,
because
but
of your role
one
model,
thing,
Dr.
one
Neves
thing I love
Mungu.
about HH is that this guy already has the money. You know, what is he gonna steal?
There's no need.
You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
you bring a poor man like me and you put me in charge of the maize field. You know, so
Um,
yeah,
I
and,
want to refer to something.
yeah, and when I look at these other people, like for example, Sean Tembo, uh,
The
there,
noise maker.
there's a story of him defrauding the government of Botswana. So
I
who
wish you can
again?
respond to that.
You know what I mean? So that's where for me. I feel when I look at the crop of leaders, opposition leaders that we have, I think he's the best. He's the best guy we can look at the moment. You know,
Now you
I'm
can
a
look
never
at
kind of guy. You know, and yeah, maybe one day I'll contest the Monza Central seat.
and MMG. That would be interesting. Let me
Yeah.
just refer to one thing.
Yes.
You talked about the 8 months, and the other day we were talking about the 8 months of the UPND in government.
Yes.
For me, I've streamlined it. I've reduced it to 4 months now. This is the fourth month. They won in August. They were operating on a budget. Our budget cycle runs from January to December. The elections took place in August, and then they took over in August, running on an MMD, I mean a PF budget up to 31st December, and only started using their budget on the 1st of January, and they have achieved a lot of things. I've just referred to one item, the CDF, which I think can help in the reduction of
What's the reason for reducing it to 4 months?
budgetary issues in terms of expenditure and executing their programs. You have to execute them when you're running on a budget. So this is the time that they are using their own budget. For the I mean the PF budget, they had nothing to do. They just had to follow what the PF had put in place. So it's from January the 1st that they are now implementing their own plans according to their manifesto, according to their budget.
Well, and then listening to the president's press, is it 2 days ago?
Yeah.
For me, I feel uh, he touched on a number of issues, but
Okay. Before you go there,
no,
let me just comment on one thing. We'll
yes,
come back to that. I like it that you talked about the gin,
yes,
brandy, and other forms of what we call alcohol, these stuffs that people drink. I saw a post yesterday, which I found very interesting, from our own renowned comedian, Thomas Sparrow, also
yes.
known as Professor Difficult.
Hmm.
He made a very brilliant proposal. I actually commented that Thomas Sparrow is providing very, very good checks and balances, far much better than the perceived top five opposition political parties combined. You talked about the Sean Temple. Those are the ones who are now just providing very relevant checks and balances, just making noise. The Nakachindas, the binoculars, the rubbish that we are seeing from him. But Thomas Sparrow is a serious critic of the New Dawn administration, and we appreciate criticism as a New Dawn, because it's criticism that is going to, to help us and see where we are going wrong, where the government is going wrong. But as you criticize, provide alternatives. Difficulty is saying, why can't we get that Kachasu? As people are forming cooperatives, even the producers of that Kachasu, we can put them in cooperatives, put them in groups. After putting them in groups, let what they produce, we come up with some form of industry where that stuff will be bought legally from those people. And then it is refined to suit acceptable standards. He even gave examples that they are doing such in Malawi. Our neighbors, and if the Malawians can do it, if the Malawians did it, we can also did it. We can do it. These people are good at doing it. They can continue doing it, but they can brew it, but they should not sell it until they sell it to the other people who are going to refine it to
Well,
better standards the way it
well,
is.
for me, I think that the government should like maybe form up an industry that will buy it from the distillers,
Exactly.
right?
That's what I'm
And
talking
then
about. Yes.
refine it to acceptable uh, standards that
Because
are not of the health detriment.
Because
You
it's
know,
not
but
even very different from the
the
so-called
issue
junta
again
that we
is
see around.
if you look at Tujiri,
That's the
that's
stuff I'm
Kachasu.
talking about. The junta.
That's Kachasu. You know, so
It is just
in more ways than one, it's you know, it's. I think it wasn't just done right. I think let's use the CDF to maybe build capacity in these people. You know,
actually
uh,
what we need is to continue speaking for these people in the compounds because us personally, I'm a child from the ghetto. I'm from the compounds. I come from the places where the staff is brute, where the staff is highly consumed. That is why I trace my roots. And I don't want those people to lose their business because that is their income, that is their source of livelihood. What we need is to organize them, let them brew it, let's find a way of getting it, pay for it, then refine it to acceptable standards so that they can continue. And they'll be very proud of the government because those are the people that voted for the new Dawn administration. And they should not be put out of income. But we can get it from them, refine it well, package it well in very suitable environments, put it to the standard that is acceptable, even in terms of health, then let it be sold legally.
I agree.
That way, employment to be created. Those people who are drinking it actually will start working in those industries and they will have the reduced time on alcohol consumption. They will be now become more productive. That is how
So,
you fight
so
poverty.
for me though, regarding alcohol, like there's like for instance here, there's a certain time that you can't open bars. I think they're all they open after 12. You know that's pretty much the time that the bars can
Yes,
open, and then I think uh, that industry needs regulation as well, because
exactly.
if bars are going to be open 24 hours, then people drink 24 hours, right?
Even just next door in Zimbabwe, you don't just drink beer anytime.
Well,
There's a time that the bars are opened.
for example, here I'm not allowed to move with an open can of a bottle of beer. I'll be arrested
Even
for that,
even next door Zimbabwe, you
you know.
cannot walk with an open bottle in public.
Yeah, exactly.
It
and
should
and,
be
and
packaged. It should be concealed. It is
yes.
only at a bar or at home where you can expose a bottle of beer.
Well, then coming to the president's presser, you know,
Yeah, let's come back.
yeah, for me, I think it was an emotional one, and instead of addressing the things that he did not touch the things that I wanted him to address. So, uh, for me, I wanted to find what I was hoping to hear from that was how he was going to, you know, create some subsidies for milling meal and cooking oil, because those are the, you know, uh, uh, basic necessities that people need in Zambia. You know what I mean? Like if cooking oil is cheaper and then milling meal is cheaper, even if these other things are expensive, as some people will understand. You know, and I'm not looking for subsidies on fuel, no. But what I'm just looking for is help the ordinary citizen eat. You know, that's basically what I was looking for. So basically, that wasn't addressed. So yeah.
It wasn't addressed in me. I mean, in the presser because I'm sure he he can spend the whole week non-stop talking to address everything, which is not possible.
No,
But
but
let me just mention of one thing. Um, in the past speeches that the president has made in his address to the nation,
mhm.
he has indicated that to reduce the price of mirror meal, to reduce the price of cooking oil, what we need to do is to increase production. How they are going to increase I always talk how we because I mean I've been UPND for a long time and I feel like I'm part of government. I'm part of it. Yeah, it's the government. It's the people. We are the people. I'm part of that government. Yes. How we are going to reduce the price of mini meal, the price of cooking oil. Of course, it won't. It's a process that will take a bit of some time. We need to find ways of reducing the cost of fertilizer. How that is going to be done is by increasing production. We cannot only depend on the few nitrogen chemicals to produce fertilizer for the nation. I'm sure the president has engaged a lot of investors to come into the country and get to increase production of fertilizers. Uh, Seed companies are being urged to increase their production on the seeds, because once we have this increased, the supply will be very high, and when the supply is very high, you definitely know that the prices will come down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we need to create a very enabling environment in agriculture. I'm sure you have heard the president urging the Zambia National Service Commander that they should quadruple their production of agro products like maize. If they were producing 1,000 metric tons of maize in the
Yeah.
past, this time around, they should start moving towards producing more than 4,000 metric tons of maize. That way, we are going to see the price of meal coming down. The
Yeah.
people in employment are being urged not to stick to one source of income, but also to go into agriculture so that we increase production and we reduce the cost of our
Well,
food.
you know, what you are saying is what's going to be done in the future, right? I'm talking about now. People need to eat now. Okay. And what is it that as a government they can do to help the people eat now? You know, and that's the most important thing for me, and that's what I was looking for. You know, you provide a subsidy in minimum, it becomes and it's very easy to administer.
I'll ask a question.
Yes,
Where's that money going to come from?
there's what we call budget realignment.
Okay, let me respond to that now. Fine. At the moment, you've heard the president lamenting that
No,
they found almost nothing in the coffers.
no, we'll start. A budget is a plan on how you're going to spend the money. Okay, and then you during the course of the year,
How are
you
you going
see
to
that.
budget on the money that you don't have?
That's the thing. They just came back to us and said ZRA collected more taxes than they were supposed to. And
Um,
for me, I think it's the most important for the UPND government to be appreciated. Uh, they they have to do a political. I'll call it, for lack of a better term, I'll say a political move. That political move is to make sure that people are fed. Okay, and if they are going to say, okay, let's make sure that we subsidize the bag of millimeter cooking oil, you see how much people are going to appreciate them. Sometimes
okay,
it's not
let me
only
let me
about
respond. Let
no
me
no no
respond.
no
I've understood
no
your
no
question.
no no no, let me finish. Let me
Okay.
finish. Sometimes it's not always about him trying to achieve a favorable let's say economy, right, a plan. But sometimes in business, they say loss leaders. You need to have a loss leader. And a loss leader for UPND is to reduce the bag of milling meal and cooking oil. When they do that, then people will see that, oh, this government has applied for poor people. This government has applied for its citizenry. Okay? Because you know that the price of fuel has gone up, the bag of milling meal is going to go up. So you subsidize that, and you said the president asked what's this uh, what did you call it again?
Which one?
Uh, is it the ZAF? There's the other one.
Zambia National Service.
Yeah, yeah, Zambia National Service to pretty much scale up their production.
Yeah,
And
that's just one example.
yeah, yeah, and for me, you need something. And somebody said, asked him this question, the same question, said, what are you going to, what are you doing now to help your people?
Yeah,
And the answer
that's
that he
fine. Let
provided
me
was,
respond. Let me
yes,
respond.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Um, if you're in Africa, most governments that have been there, they have made their countries to become very poor because they go for populist interventions. They want to come up with a move that is going to please people today so that they may win the next elections, which is very bad. One thing that the new Dawn administration is avoiding is to postpone problems. We have a problem today. You don't decide that we will sort out this problem in the next term of our office.
No, you're making noise.
The biggest challenge that we have right now as a country is the huge international and the internal debt. These are the biggest challenges that the country is having at the moment. The biggest. Once we sort out this one, I'm telling you the truth, you will start seeing the direction of the new Dawn administration's interventions. The
Uh,
vision will start unfolding. Let me finish.
Wilster, can I ask you a question?
You're not giving me a chance, Perry.
No, no, no. Let me ask you a question.
You're not
Um,
giving me a chance.
have you ever gotten a loan from any bank whatsoever?
Exactly, I've gotten not only one
Yeah.
bank before.
Yes. You got a loan, but did that prevent you from eating?
No, but they really
Exactly. And
sold me.
for me, that's why I'm saying uh, the UPND has to score an on goal. That on goal is to reduce the buying price of, or the selling price of milling meal and cooking oil, because those are two cardinal commodities that people thrive on. You can grow vegetables outside, you get your vegetables and you have cooking oil, it's all good, you know. So for me, in as much as they are seemingly winning in this other aspect, they have to find a way of making sure that the people eat.
They should stop paying debt. Kongole tiziba reko chap.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying they should stop. You, but
You
realign the
talked
budget.
about you talked about
Yes,
the alignment of the budget,
yes.
meaning money which was budgeted for something else. For example, money that was budgeted for the Ministry of Agriculture should be used to subsidize cooking oil and mini meal. And then
You
those two commodities are from the agricultural sector. We say the government should get money from which is meant for capacity building in the farming sector.
I'm
For the
not
money
saying that.
used in the
I,
this is alignment.
no,
You
no.
get one
What
sector
I'm
and take
saying,
something else.
what I'm saying is, by now there's other sectors that they've noticed that they over budgeted. Okay,
There is no sector
you,
that has
you,
been
you
over
get a
budgeted.
tiny bit from there,
Give me
tiny
examples.
bit from there. You have a lump sum.
Give me an
Okay.
example of a sector that has been over budgeted.
No, 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 no. That's what I'm saying. There's other. I haven't pretty much analyzed their budget yet, but what I'm saying is, when you make a budget, you have to change goalposts at some point. And for me, they've done most of the things right, but they have to look at themselves again first. What is it that's going to make the people, you know, feel helped, feel loved? And that's politics.
You want them to
You
play
know,
politics at the expense of the economy.
no, 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 no. For example, it's like a parent comes in the house and says, you know what, the economy is biting. Um, we have to make sure that we pay all our creditors. That people, the creditors, and your son is not eating. Your children are not eating in the house. You know what I mean? So for me, I think they can look at other sectors that they can, instead of being a short-term plan. They can make them long-term plans and address this issue of people feeding. That's the most important aspect for me.
Some people they take them much. That is a bad response. If I say the problems that we have now, these are problems that the New Dawn administration found, and the New Dawn administration is now trying to sort out those problems. I mentioned earlier on that the New Dawn is not going to postpone problems, that these problems will be sorted out in the future. What the New Dawn government is doing is to sort out problems now so that we create a better future for our children. Right now, we are going to sacrifice, pay the debt, restructure the debt, pay for it in the wrong land to allow production. Because it is if we just do away with production, we strictly stick to consumption, then we have nothing, meaning that the future of our children is bleak. Because what we pray for is that I'm better off suffering now. I want my children to go through what I went through as a child. I want my children to have a better life. The New Dawn administration wants a future for the youth, a future for our children. Let's grapple with the problems that we have now, but let's have a better tomorrow. This is what the New Dawn administration is doing. We cannot do away with debt servicing. I'm sure you have seen, even at a local level, if you are to talk of local debt, you know that from UNIP, MMD, the Patriotic Fund, there was a huge debt in terms of retirement packages for the people that have left employment, the people that worked in the civil service. They were not paid a lot of money, but the New Dawn has come on board and paid those people so that those people can go into production, so that those people can feed their families. That's how the New Dawn is doing it. He that works is paid so that he's able to feed his children. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the issue of hunger is there. But the way of sorting it out is to go into production. You are aware that a huge amount of money has been released.
One moment, Costa. Please.
Sorry. Okay. I think I can go ahead as I wait for the gentleman to come back. Like I said earlier on, we are not going to stick to consumption. The president has been very emphatic on this one, even before he came in power, that let's not stick to consumption, but let's produce in order to feed our nation. We have mega resources. There's no money in the country. So the little that is there is going to be used for production, not for consumption. That's how the government is going to be run. And that is the only way that we are going to secure a better future for our children. The president has emphasized that in the next 5 years, the results of the interventions that government is putting in place are going to be seen. The president has been traveling. He has been meeting a lot of people. Just this week, or is it next week, an MOU is being signed with the president of the DRC, where the two countries are going to be now involved in the production of electric car batteries. Such projects, they need funding. And if we are going to rely on funding from such an intervention, and then we take it to consumption, then the future will be bleak. There will be no light at the end of the tunnel. So what the government wants very is to put light at the end of the tunnel for people to have hope that our children are going to have better lives than ourselves, that our lives are going to be better in future, not to remain constant or start going down. That is what the New Dawn wants.
Yeah. For me, I think feeding is a top priority as well.
Exactly. I've not disputed it.
Yeah,
But we have to move. We have to progress.
Yeah, for me, I'm not asking much, but at least make that essential commodity at cheap or affordable. That's the most important. And then people will see that the government has worked for them.
Well, I think I've responded on that one. Now,
Yeah, you have, but I still feel that has to be addressed though.
Immediately.
in as much as you are looking at bettering the nation, you have to look at your people as well. Are they eating? You know, and for me, feeding is the most important aspect. You know.
Yeah, the nation will feed
Oh,
when we increase production.
all right. Let me thank you for inviting me on your page as well. The Zambian interactive show. So up until next time, I think it's bye for now. In closing, what are you saying?
No, thank you very much for coming on board. We will continue with these interactions for our viewers. The next time we are here, please share the share the page with others, invite other people, so that we increase our we broaden the base of the viewership. Make your comments. We'll inform you the next time that will come online.
Yeah, I have to rush the young man. He's moving to a new school, so I was supposed to be there like right now. But yeah, I have to feed him and then take him to his new school.
Yeah. Anyway, I can mention that something that we had kept to ourselves. Otherwise, viewers, this was our test drive. This is our first live show. It was our test drive. We'll continue doing better. Thank you
Yeah, of
very much.
course, you can leave your comments and suggestions in the comment box, and we'll respond to them. And thank you very much for joining us, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye bye.